Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Davey Death Ray here. Happy Sunday, y'all. Hope you've had a great 4th of July, celebration in the middle of the week. And then, of course, a great 4th of July weekend here as we get rolling for our weekend roundup, Q&A, franchise tier ranking over there with the tier maker. Really have a lot of fun with that tier maker. What's great about it is you don't have to necessarily say, like, this is my first, second, third, fourth favorite, all that kind of stuff. You just put them in those categories, and then it still opens up everything to, be able to jump in there and do legit franchise ranking where we actually go through every single one and give them that number. So, yeah, guys, happy Sunday. Just wanted to jump in and see who's in the chat. We got Lamontre Gillard. What's happening, Lamontre? Great to see you in the chat, bud. Raymond Malaber, hope you and Kate are staying and having a great weekend. It's been awesome so far. And yeah, the only way to stay cool out in the desert this time of year is to stay inside. So we're definitely doing that. What's happening? Cheesy Corn Pop, awesome to see you here. Big Rod is in the chat. Big Rod was hanging out with us last night as we watched Jaws the Revenge and, did a little running commentary with that one. It's a really fun, easy watch, Jaws the Revenge. Not the best movie or anything like that, but fun to watch for sure. And then we got Necro Mechanimal in the chat as well. Necro was hanging out with us last night also. We've got my lovely wife, Kate, there in the chat. Yeah, happy Sunday to all the friends out there. We got Gene Whitacombe. Yeah, Gene, I saw your comment on the Jaws thing. Kate and I going live was spur of the moment. So what happened is last night at 8 p.m. Eastern, there was supposed to be a Movie Punks live stream where Foz Rotten and I were going to cover The Return of the Living Dead. As any fan of that movie knows, the movie takes place on the night of July 3rd. So we wanted to cover it on July 4th weekend. But unfortunately, Foz had something come up that was very important that he couldn't break from. So we had to reschedule. We're going to push that Movie Punks out to next Friday. I'll go ahead and kind of cover that again here later on in the show as we go through our little minutes, as it were. But yeah, really happy that he was able to take care of what he needed to take care of. And we'll be back next Friday with that. So yeah, Kate and I just out of nowhere, Gene, we were like, well, let's do something. I still wanted to go live, so it's like, let's watch a Jaws movie we haven't watched yet this year. So we put a little poll out there for Jaws 3 and Jaws the Revenge. Jaws the Revenge won the poll. So yeah, really, I prefer that one to Jaws 3. So it was fun to watch. Yeah, absolutely. Everyone is saying what's up to each other. And we've got T. Parker Evans. Halloween tier ranking is perfect now that it's officially spooky season. That's right. Once 4th of July is over, we start looking at the leaves, seeing if they're changing a little bit. I mean, out here in the desert, not really so much. But yeah, it's like us horror folks, as soon as the 4th of July is over and done with, you're like, all right, switching gears. It's time to think about Halloween and Halloween alone. Yeah, absolutely. Big Rod said, y'all inspired me. I watched Jaws 3 and Deep Blue Sea last night. That's awesome. We actually, yeah, as I was like cleaning up the setup and everything, because we did our stream in our living room yesterday instead of here in the studio. I just put on Jaws 3 as I was like kind of cleaning everything up and getting everything set. So we watched maybe like the first third or so of the movie. Yeah. Yeah. And Kate needs to watch Deep Blue Sea. Big Rod, did you watch it streaming or do you own a copy? And if you watched it streaming, which service did you use? And maybe Kate and I will put that on today. Who knows? Raymond says Jaws the Revenge is the only one I've never seen. I think it's worth it if you enjoy Jaws movies. It's like an hour and 28 minutes. It's a very easy movie to watch. It doesn't really waste any time. Sure, it's not great. There's not an incredible amount of action, but man, it moves so swiftly. It's about a half hour, probably almost an hour shorter than the original, something like that. So yeah, really easy to watch, Raymond. Super fun flick. As far as if you like kind of cheesy stuff, then I think you'd like it quite a bit. And then yeah, Raymond says Deep Blue Sea is awesome. Just relaying that message to Kate. Yeah, so Deep Blue Sea is something we're gonna have to check out pretty soon. Maybe we can do maybe we can cover that in some regard here, somewhere down the line. Yeah, I was gonna bring that up, Kate. I'm glad that you did, because I actually forgot to make a little banner so we can leave your chat up here. We did watch Axel F, the new Beverly Hills Cop film last night on Netflix after we settled in, and I was pretty surprised at how good it was. I actually had a really fun time. I thought that the humor would be like kind of neutered, or maybe there just wouldn't be like the energy. There like, the original films, and Eddie Murphy in general has such a, just a quick high energy about him. So like quippy and smart and everything like that. And you just wonder, as time goes on and age sets in, if an actor is going to lose some of that to a certain degree. But man, Eddie Murphy really brings it. I felt like everyone did a really good job performing. I don't think there was any slouch in the movie as far as performance goes, and had a really good time. I was actually pretty surprised at how much I enjoyed it. I'm usually cynical as all get out when it comes to stuff like that, but yeah, Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. If you have Netflix, it's easily worth a watch. I could see myself wanting to watch it again relatively soon. So really enjoyed it. Kind of like the similar to the way I feel about the latest Fletch movie, Confess Fletch with John Hamm. I felt like Beverly Hills Cop Axel F kind of had a similar feeling where I'm like, oh, this is a really great popcorn movie. I could put this on, watch it whenever. Kevin Bacon is great in there. It seems like he's popping up in everything lately, so that's kind of cool to see. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt was great. There are some actors in there that I didn't know before watching the movie. I felt like they did a good job as well. So yeah, had a really good time with Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. We got Gavin in the chat. What's happening? Gavin says, sorry I missed the live last night. Was showing the lady Sweeney Todd. Well, yeah, you got to do that, right? If you've got a lady and she's not seen Sweeney Todd, chicks dig the Sweeney Todd. They love that Johnny Depp. They love that creepy Tim Burton aesthetic and all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah, no worries at all, Gavin. You can always watch it on the replay, of course, if you're ever itching to put on Jaws the Revenge for some reason. And I think on Grandma's Boy, I think only a couple times I gave like the timestamp, but on the Jaws one, I give it repeatedly. So it should be really easy if anyone wants to jump in and watch Jaws the Revenge on a replay. Should be really easy to line everything up. All right. And Big Rod says both of those movies were on Xfinity on demand. Okay. Yeah, we don't have standard cable, but we'll take a look and see if Deep Blue Sea is out there. Yeah, just see if we can catch it. Oh, Gavin says, sad to say, Maxine wasn't very good. Man, I've heard mostly good things about Maxine. I have heard a couple lukewarm things about it. I need to catch up on the whole trilogy. So, yeah, yeah, it's crazy. I've heard some people say it's the best one in the trilogy. Some people say it's the worst. I've even heard some people say like, hey, none of these movies are bad. I didn't enjoy this one as much as I enjoyed the others, but none of these are bad. So I have to play catch up on that whole entire series. Um, I've always heard it's bad, so I never got around to watching it. Oh, is that Jaws the Revenge? Yeah, it's not great. I'm not saying that Jaws the Revenge deserves any awards or anything like that, but as far as like just turning off your brain and watching like a silly shark movie, like if you're a fan of Jaws, I think as a curiosity, if you enjoy, any of the previous 3 films in the series, I recommend checking out Revenge just to see, it's kind of fun. T. Parker says, I actually love Maxine and find it to be my favorite horror film of the year so far. Yeah, it seems like the pendulum has really been kind of swinging on the opinions of Maxine. So I'm interested to jump in and see what it's all about. Again, another Kevin Bacon appearance. Yeah, and then got some folks saying what's up to each other. Love seeing the love spread around. Raymond says, I've been wanting to see Axel F. Tried to watch it Friday, but my Netflix was acting up, so I'm going to wait till later this week and try again. Yeah, man, I think you'll have a good time. It's not, change your world or anything like that. I don't mean to overhype it, but if you're looking for just like a fun, 80s style cop kind of, action movie, then I don't think you can do any better as far as like newer comedies go that, some of the stuff, the language that they use, and just the style of the film is kind of a throwback. So I sort of like that. You know, there are some modern elements that they weaved into the plot and everything like that. And there's definitely like the more serious elements of the plot, I would say, are modern. But I'd say all the fun stuff, all the DNA that makes the original three work, especially the first two. I still think the third one's a fun movie. It's just, you know, not as close as the first two are to each other. Like, if you enjoy that kind of style, this film holds on to that DNA of like that humor. So I think you'll have a good time. Yeah, and Kate echoes those feelings as well. Raymond really wants to see Maxine. So yeah, I mean, like regardless of where the opinion is, it's kind of like, well, you sort of just got to go out there and check it out yourself, right? Especially if you enjoyed the other two movies and if you enjoyed what you saw there in the trailer. And we've got Matt Facci in the house. What's happening, Matt? Great to see you. Oh, killing it like always. Well, you know, I don't know if I'm killing it, but I'm definitely staying active. Sometimes like that YouTube grind, Matt, I'm sure you can attest to this. Sometimes it feels like you're spinning your wheels a little bit. Of course, you know, I love the live interaction that I get with you guys is amazing. Like I say all the time, it really fuels me as I go throughout the week and you know try to come up with ideas for streams or just you know pre-recorded vids and all that kind of stuff. And I know, you know, with me getting rolling on my new job, still trying to find a good time to sit down and do some pre-recorded stuff. But it's just been, you know, still kind of difficult with getting everything up and running, and the holiday and everything sort of just kind of junked up this past week for me as far as, you know, being a bit more productive. But yeah, Matt, I'm sure you can agree that sometimes it's like you feel like, am I making any progress here? But you know, it's the act of it all, like the just hopping on live and hanging out with you guys keeps me going. So you know, I think like any other kind of creative endeavor, I played music for a really long time and stuff. And it's like you go through those periods where you're like, what does this all mean? You know, am I dumping all my time into this? And, you know, is there going to be a payoff? But sometimes I think like the reward is in his work or in the work. You know what I mean? So sometimes, you know, you sit down, you record that video or you do that live, and it's just the act of doing it that makes you feel really, really good. So yeah, really appreciate you jumping in, Matt. Hope you've had a great weekend so far, and I hope it's a lovely Sunday for you and your fam here today. And we've got Coy in the chat. What's happening? Happy Sanjo. Hope you're doing great, Coy. Hope you're feeling awesome and that you guys had a great holiday and a really good weekend. Gene says, I've not seen any Beverly Hills Cop movies. Why? I was never interested in them. Yeah, they're, man, especially the first two are really, really funny. I think the third one's pretty all right. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I didn't hate it. I think it gets kind of maligned a little bit. It's really tough to compete with those first two. But the new one was a lot of fun. So, Gene, if you have Netflix, I think it's all on there. At least the first one's on there and the new one's on there. I would imagine if Netflix got the rights to do the new film that they would have grabbed the rights for the other three. So yeah, I would say if you like 80s style, you know, cop comedy with some action, to check it out for sure. Facci says, no rush to see Maxine, but I'm dying to see Twisters for sure. Yeah, you know, the first Twister movie, you know, kind of lukewarm on that movie. It was during that whole era of like, you know, CG was starting to get, you know, definitely taking a step up. So there were some impressive, at the time, really impressive computer graphics in the original Twister film. And I thought it was like a pretty fun movie for what it was. Like the late 90s had all of those like disaster flicks and everything. But the new one, I don't know. Glenn Powell seems like he's only got like one thing that he does. Even that movie where he's playing the hitman and they have him dressed up in all those different outfits. I'm like, it's like he's making the same face. It's just like this, yeah, I know I'm pretty kind of smirk on his face. I don't know. I guess I'd have to see him in more to see how I felt about him as like an actual actor. Because I see him pop up and everything, and it's just the same face over and over again. He's the Sydney Sweeney of dudes. All right. Maxine dropped from a 3.6 to a 3.3 on Letterboxd just over the weekend, which isn't a good sign, says Gavin. Still a decent overall rating, but it's not good that it's dropping that rapidly during its opening. yeah, as more people go and see it throughout the weekend, it'll probably, level out. And really, the test, I'm sure this, Gavin, is like, how's that second weekend? How's the money on the second weekend? What's that drop off look like? Because to me, that says so much about a movie because it says that the word of mouth was not good. Usually if that second weekend only drops off a little bit or it's like neck and neck with that first weekend, that means that everyone that saw it the first weekend went out and told everyone, like, you've got to go see that movie. And maybe some of those folks went back and watched it again or took a family member or something like that. Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. Not a good sign. Raymond says, I love the first two Beverly Hills Cop. The third one's okay. The new one looks great. Yeah. I'd say the new one is pretty dang good. I'd say it's right there with the first two for sure. Oh, you're too sweet, Gene. I think you're amazing because you show up for all these vids every time after a stream is posted. Gene, you jump into the comments and drop a comment, even if you were there for the whole live stream. I think that's awesome. Guys, the way that these videos get seen and the way the channel gets, visibility on YouTube is from you guys dropping those comments, hitting the like button, making sure you're subscribed, and then, of course, sharing it with other people. So everything that you guys do helps that channel or helps our channel, even if you're not, doing every single thing every time. Just every little bit of engagement absolutely helps us. So really appreciate you, Gene, of course. And what's up? We got Medley Man in the chat. Howdy doody, man. How you doing? All right. Yeah. Raymond says the first three Beverly Hills Cops are on Paramount Plus. Oh, cool. So yeah, and maybe I saw that the first one was on Netflix. So I would imagine, sometimes those streams are like shared, or sometimes the streaming services share rights for a little bit on some of these. So yeah. Let's see. Medley Man says, I'm high as balls and ready to piss people off with Star Wars takes. Well, we can get into some Star Wars takes, Medley Man, but I put out a poll across 3 platforms. So I did my poll on YouTube, Instagram, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, or X if you're nasty. And actually, Halloween won the poll. I was kind of blown away. So I'll give you guys the numbers here. So I put it up there for franchise ranking for Tier Maker. I put up Star Wars, Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Batman. And for a while there, it was looking like it was going to be Friday the 13th. That was the clear winner. Then Batman climbed up. And then, man, I don't know what happened overnight, but it ended up being that across the 3 platforms, Star Wars just got 8 votes. Halloween got 20. Friday the 13th got 18 and Batman got 17. So we're going to be taking a look at the Halloween franchise here in just a little bit. We're going to be doing that tier ranking. But yeah, Medley Man, feel free to go ahead and drop those Star Wars takes in the chat. You are, ready to go, man. I love a good Star Wars hot take. I think you had said something like you think, or you said Return of the Jedi is the best film in the franchise. I can't hate that, really. It's not where I would put that film, but man, the last act of Return of the Jedi is some of the best, like, editing and filmmaking and pacing and all that stuff. The last act, especially all the Luke Vader stuff, is really, really good. So I think when I was a kid, Return of the Jedi was my favorite. Maybe even a tie between the first movie and Return of the Jedi when I was a little kid just getting into them. I love the redemption of Vader in Return of the Jedi. I love when a bad guy can kind of like see the error of their ways and turn things back around. It's just always been a soft spot for me. And then as I got older and kept on rewatching them, I was like, oh, I really loved how in Empire that you just jump right into the action. And then I love those like kind of depressing middle chapter endings, kind of like the Two Towers, where it's like things aren't happy. The movie just sort of ends and you have to wait for the next chapter to have everything wrapped up. So really like that element of Empire Strikes Back. Yeah. And yeah, you can piss people off with your hot takes on Halloween as well. We'll have a good time with it. Mud says 3.3 is still good. I'm not saying it's a low rating, but it's already the lowest of the trilogy. Yeah, I mean, if it went from a 3.6 to a 3.3, and then if it drops even further, yeah, it's not like people are saying it's trash, but it definitely Yeah, it's not a good sign when it's dropping that early on. Necromechanimal says X came out of nowhere. Pearl came in quick succession, and Maxine suffered the same overanalyzed and built up lead into it over so long that people do with most movies now. Yeah, that hype. That's true because I remember when X came out and what it was Pearl came out the same year, right? Wasn't it just like 8 or 9 later or something like that that Pearl came out? So I remember when Pearl came out and I was like, "Wait, did I miss something? Did I was I in a coma because didn't they just put out a movie in this franchise?" And then yeah, Maxine certainly has had so much hype. I mean, we were waiting for that teaser for the Super Bowl. It didn't happen. The teaser dropped maybe about a month later or something like that. And it seems like all people have been talking about for the last few months has been like Maxine and long legs, you know? So, you know, the hype can really get built up, like you say here, Necromechanimal. And yeah, it's too bad. I think it can sort of, you know, raise those expectations to a level where they can't really be met, unfortunately. Big Rod says the last Star Wars I saw was made in 1983. Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, the prequels, not so good. I would say I enjoyed The Force Awakens. It has a feel very akin to the original trilogy, so I enjoy that about it. But I haven't been too hyped on the other movies. Rogue One's okay. Like Rogue One has a good look and everything. It's a story we didn't need. It kind of plays like a video game a little bit as far as like you go to this planet to get this thing and then you go to this planet. There's a whole bunch of like hopping around from location to location. Felt very like side quest video game kind of feel, you know. Raymond says I posted the short of Chris Stanley talking about Prey because I was mentioned in it on my Facebook for my family to see. That's awesome, Raymond. That's way too cool. Really appreciate that. Again, anything that you guys do like that, like sharing a short, you know, if your name's dropped on it, or even if it's just like a moment you dug from the stream and you want to share it, that's great, man. That's awesome. I've been trying to get better about that's one thing, like as I'm trying to find, you know, some different kind of footing here on YouTube, trying to make sure that I'm putting out like a couple shorts a day. And then even cutting up these lives, you know, I'll probably cut up just the tier maker ranking of the Halloween franchise. I'll cut that out, drop it as its own vid, similar to what we did on the previous rankings. So, you know, just trying to stay active out there. And the shorts are a really good way to get people to see your channel that normally wouldn't see it, because I think YouTube is a little more inclined to just sort of freely share random shorts with people. So yeah, really appreciate that, Raymond. That's awesome. I try to, you know, whenever I drop those shorts, if I'm able to get one of your guys' names in there, if you either kicked off the question or the start bench cut or whatever, it is nice to have that because you guys are amazing for supporting the channel and hanging out in all these streams. And I know from being an audience member how cool it is to hear your name said on a channel, let alone then like shared after the fact. So really cool, Raymond. Appreciate you, man. T. Parker says the third chapter of the trilogy is always divisive, and most of the time it's my favorite or second favorite. Yeah, it is tough to wrapping up a trilogy can be really difficult, you know, unless you map it all out before, like you map out one grand story, right? And then you break it up into 3 sections. And then each one of those sections needs to be broken up. Oops, sorry, microphone. Each one of those sections needs to be broken up into 3 sections, right? And the way that I like to write a story is like you kind of go backwards. At least you want to know where it's going to end and you want to know how it begins. And then you find a way to like meet that in the middle, right? So it can be really difficult, T. Parker, especially I think, you know, with the latest Halloween trilogy, stuff really got hopped off the rails for a second because of COVID. So, you know, we probably would have gotten at different ends without, you know, COVID disrupting everything. But yeah, you're right. It is difficult. And then in the case of like, you know, Star Wars, the original trilogy, Lucas only directed the first film. And then I think he had a writing partner on Empire and on Jedi. So he had some people helping him out. So that's why those movies have a little bit of a different feel. And of course, I mean, it's no secret. I'm not saying anything new here. A lot of people pick on Return of the Jedi because they say it feels like a kid's movie because of the Ewoks. Now, to me, the Ewoks don't like completely throw everything off. I feel like they do a pretty good job of working them into the story. And yeah, maybe it is a little, kind of like a children's movie in those moments, but it's nowhere near, where they took everything later on in the franchise. It doesn't even scratch the surface of how absurd episode one is. People may say that that's the beginning of the downfall of Lucas. I think that's a bit drastic. I think it was that huge gap between Return of the Jedi and the Phantom Menace that was, that's where Lucas kind of lost it. Because he ended up going back and doing all that special edition stuff, which we didn't need. At least a lot of it we didn't really need. Medley Man says Return of the Jedi is the best and Rogue One is second best. Remember, the only thing I care about is plot points and plot points per second. I care about music, action, acting, etc. separately. Yeah, well, plot points per second, Rogue One has got it because Jyn Erso is not even she's not even a real character in that movie in Rogue One, unfortunately. To me, Jyn Erso is just a plot device. So when people talk about strong female leads in Star Wars movies, you can get that Jyn Erso crap right out of there because that is not a strong female lead. She only exists in Rogue One so they can get to Galen Erso. That's the only reason why Jyn is written into that movie. And I have an issue with that as a fan. Because to me, it's just like, oh, I'm watching this movie it's under the guise that this is this important character. Really, she's just a MacGuffin. She is the Death Star plans, essentially, because everyone that she's with gets passage to the next place they go, or they don't get killed at the next place they go because they can pull little Jyn Erso out of their hat and say, but wait, this is Galen Erso's daughter. You have to let us pass. So I don't know. Again, Rogue One looks great. Some of the action is awesome. I do really enjoy some of the characters. I think the performances are pretty damn good. I don't think there's anyone that's a slouch as far as performances go. So that's awesome. And I have a fun time watching the movie, but sort of like Rob Zombie's Halloween remake, it's like, what's the point of Rogue One? I already know all of this. I already, maybe I didn't know the characters' names and every little tiny thing that happened to them, but I already know what happens with the Death Star plans. We already know what happens after that. You figure none of those people are made it out alive. I assumed that going into the movie. So I enjoy Rogue One. Out of the new Star Wars movies, the new Disney movies, I would say it's my second favorite. I'd say Force Awakens I prefer, and then Rogue One would be my second favorite, and the others can all just be tied for dead last. Mud says, I'm going to convince Davey to not put the OG Halloween in the top tier today, folks. I don't know about that, Gavin. I really enjoy the original Halloween. Raymond says, the only Star Wars movie I don't like is Rogue One. Too depressing. Yeah. Yeah, you kind of know that the ending isn't going to be happy. Yeah. Fair enough, Raymond, but that's also a skill issue. I'd really like to see the original cut of Rogue One, Gareth Edwards' actual ending, because I think his ending was even more bleak. I'd like to see that. Bronson says, who is your favorite Spider-Man villain? Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin, Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus, Thomas Hayden Church as the Sandman, Topher Grace as Venom, or James Franco as the New Goblin. Ooh, that's an easy one for me out of those, Bronson. Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus is awesome. He is the best. Spider-Man 2, in my opinion, is the best Spider-Man movie, hands down, not even close. It's that perfect blend of Raimi's Evil Dead style comic book movie that I think go so well together because it's just that hyper focus on the action and everything's just the perfect amount of over the top. And like I said earlier, I love a tragic villain. I love a villain that sees the error of their ways and comes back around. Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus is exactly that in Spider-Man 2. So really, really dig that. T. Parker says, I love that A Quiet Place trilogy and X trilogy are not only box office successes, but certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, it is a big win for horror. You're right. Yeah, there's always got to be some mainstream horror. It's the only way that we bring in new people that can maybe start watching some of the stuff that's a little more on the fringe or just a little more underground or doesn't have the exposure that those movies have, for sure. Raymond says they know that I've been hanging out on here. When I was mentioned on, we watched a movie a year ago or so. It was a big thing in the family. It's awesome, Raymond. That's great, man. Those guys are, it's incredible. Just how much they've grown and been able to, make that a living, being able to do your creative work as a job is every creative person's dream come true. So that's really cool that you got a little shout out on their channel as well. Yeah. What's happening, my chunky Jordy? How are you doing, Gina? Hope you've had a great weekend thus far. Feeling is not a valid system of measurement, but Medley Man, when you're talking about like the way you feel about how they handled an element of a film, it is a measurement. Exactly. Because you can, feel that they didn't do a good job of capturing whatever element that was, or you can, because it's to say that a performance is like a bad performance. That's like I would have to come from a place of like actual knowledge and experience in the industry to say that kind of thing. But I can just be like, feels like there's something off with the performance here, and it's just an opinion on how I feel about whether or not that art speaks to me or that performance speaks to me. So because you can't really measure an opinion anyway. So I guess if you the only way it really makes sense then is to just rank, to say like every aspect of the movie gets like a 1 through 10 rating. But even then, that number that you pick is based on a feeling, because there's not really a way to quantify it. It's not like a sports statistic where you can say the guy went up to bat 4 times, he went 2 for 4, he struck out once, and he walked once. So he had 5 plate appearances, only 4 at bats, and he was 2 for 4. Like those are the only times when you can actually like use hard statistics. You can't really, when you're judging art, it's all, subjective. So yeah, I think talking about art is absolutely valid. What's happening, Zub Zero? How you doing? Great to see you in the chat. Look at that. My Chunky Jordy says, don't forget to hit that like button, people. That's what's up. That's what's up. Bronson says, what's your favorite Danny DeVito movie or performance? I love Danny DeVito as Frank Reynolds in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's probably my favorite performance because there's just so many great Frank moments on that show. As far as movies go, oh man, it's really difficult. I love Death to Smoochie. Really love Death to Smoochie. Love him as the Penguin in Batman Returns as well. But I mean, it's tough for me to pick something that I don't like Danny DeVito in, because I really like him as a performer. Raymond says Alfred Molina is the best, but Willem Dafoe was vicious in No Way Home. Yeah, Willem Dafoe's great in No Way Home. That one worked really well for me, for sure. And then Deadly Man's got his ranking there. Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Verse 1. All right. Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 2 kind of did that thing where they really threw all the villains at you, huh? It's too bad that Andrew Garfield didn't get like a true third movie, like a chapter just all for himself. Mikey Jordy says, I think I fell asleep through Rogue One, whichever it was, the first one in the new film. So I'm just not bothered. If it sends me to sleep, no point in watching. Well, the first one of the new films was The Force Awakens, and then I think Rogue One, and then they did The Last Jedi. Is that how it went? I'm already like lost on Disney Star Wars, because I feel like what Disney's done is they're like, hey, thank you for your decades of fandom, but really we're not interested in retaining you as a fan. It's sort of like being let go, or being, we had some cuts on the workforce today, and we've got to get rid of you fans. So I just sort of bowed out a little bit. All right. Medley Man says, okay, but how do you assign a number to a feeling measurement? It's not universal in the slightest. There's no judgment of any art on planet Earth, Medley Man, that is universal, unfortunately, because it's art. So it's just all based on your opinion. Again, it's not like going up to bat, or it's not like completions and pass attempts in football or anything like that. So the only way you can really measure it is based on feeling. Like, I mean, Siskel and Ebert, when they would talk about movies, even though eventually they'd wind up with a thumbs up or a thumbs down, it's all based on feeling. Even if they don't use the word feeling, like what other criteria are they using? Of course it's based on feeling. Big Rod says art is great because the opinion of the consumer is all that matters to that particular consumer. Exactly. You can quantify plot points, which is what? Yeah, I mean, you can count them. You can say there's this many plot points. It doesn't mean they're good, though. So, that's all opinion, whether or not the plot points are good. What's happening, Ryan? Great to see you in the chat. Hope you're having a great weekend thus far. Big Rod says throw Mama from the Train for a movie and Always Sunny for TV. As far as Danny DeVito goes, can't argue with you there at all. Medley Man says they determine how much you can subjective enjoyment you can possibly get out of something, and it stops any aspect of enjoyment for me personally. I get it. Like if a movie keeps on going, that you have an easier time enjoying it. That totally makes sense. Also, though, that's a feeling. You're not using the word feeling to describe it, but it's a feeling because you feel a certain way because of the fact that the movie keeps on moving along. Jason Blum asked a question on Twitter Q&A about, not on, we watched a movie. Yeah. Answered it. And Mike, saw it. So it became big news for him. Oh, that's really cool, man. You asked Jason Blum. That's pretty rad. Yeah. That's even cooler, I would say, is having Jason Blum answer one of your questions on a Twitter Q&A. That's really cool. I got to ask a question at the H45. They did a panel for the David Gordon Green trilogy, and I got to stand up and ask a question, and that was even cool. Even it was just a room of people. It's not anything that's been like really publicized, but it just how many times I've raised my hand at one of those panels or something wanting to ask a question. You guys know how I like the blah 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 a whole bunch, but when you're in a room with like 1,000 people, there's hundreds of others that want to have their questions answered as well, so it's a little tougher. Bronson wants to know my favorite Brendan Fraser movie. Blast from the Past is Bronson's favorite. Oh, Bronson, I'm gonna say like it's gotta be tied between like Airheads and Encino Man. I really like Airheads a lot, and actually, Foz and I we're gonna cover Airheads in August on Movie Punk, so I'm really looking forward to that. Zub Zero can't wait for Deadpool and Wolverine. Ryan is right there with him. I'm looking forward to that one as well. I think that's like the only Disney movie, like Disney comic book movie I've been looking forward to for a really long time. So yeah, that'll be great. My favorite Will Smith movie. I've not seen Hancock, Bronson. Oh gosh, my favorite Will Smith movie. The first Bad Boys is pretty fun. Independence Day is a good, like cheesy, popcorn flick. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I really enjoyed of his that stands out. I'm just gonna roll with Independence Day just because Roland Emmerich, cheesy, fun stuff. T. Parker says Andrew's my favorite Spider-Man. Yeah, don't care for Tom's films except for No Way Home, mainly because it stakes. Because of the stakes in the movie and Return of Andrew and Toby. Yeah, Andrew I thought did the best job as far as like I really liked his the humor he used and his look because he's so slender. I felt like he really looked like Spider-Man. Just that kind of gangly look. And I love his American accent. It's great. My Chunky Jordy says I was the same with Alien Covenant, fell asleep through it at the same 3 times. Oh my gosh. Luckily, Romulus looks like it's back to the OG and Alien, so hopefully I'll stay awake. Yeah, I did not like Alien Covenant at all. To me, that was just like such a step down, reactionary, because Prometheus, I guess people complain that there wasn't enough action in Prometheus, but I liked that Prometheus was more about the world building. Guys, all the movies in a series don't need to have the same exact feeling, but apparently people felt that way once Prometheus came out. They're like, well, where's the friggin' aliens? Where's the action? And then Alien Covenant was, all style, no substance at all. It was just like, let's bring back the friggin' alien and let's just have some convoluted plot with Michael Fassbender's David that really didn't work for me. And then again, they bring back Prometheus had it. The original Alien movie has it as well, where it's like people that are scientists doing really dumb things. And I'll let you get with that. I didn't like it in Prometheus that they did it, although I do like that movie. So there's like You know, I like the movie. It doesn't mean I like every single thing about it. So I wish that in Prometheus, the Tom Hardy, poor man's Tom Hardy, was a little bit smarter of a scientist, because these people like taking off their helmets and shit. And then in Covenant, they do the same thing. They're like, oh, it looks like the air is breathable. So they just take their helmets off without considering anything else that you could breathe in that could infect you, or the viruses, or just whatever's going on in that atmosphere. Completely absurd. Can't blame you. Alien Covenant was a damn. And I agree, though. Romulus looks like it's back to the OG. I feel like Fede Alvarez does a really good job with intellectual properties that belong to others. That Fede does a good job of jumping in there as understanding kind of where the fans view it from. And then he's got the technical know-how, great storyteller and director. So should be good. All right. Okay, Necromechanimal says, I've never been a Star Wars fan, but it seems like the Acolyte is actively trying to piss off the fans, which makes sense because that woman who took over said she wanted to make men uncomfortable. Yeah, I don't know about that, but I know funny that Leslie Headland woman that's like the director and the showrunner of the Acolyte, she used to be Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant when all that really creepy Me Too stuff was going on before we found out about that. So to me, it feels like she must have known about all of that and either turned a blind eye or actually helped him commit the series of crimes that he committed. It just seems that way to me. I'm not making any sort of accusation, but I have the feeling, sorry, Medley Man, but I have the feeling that Leslie Headland is not the person that a lot of Disney people or a lot of fans of Disney think she is, especially if you're a fan of the new Star Wars stuff. You probably don't know that she's got some darkness there in her past. Kate says it was my question, but I let Davey ask it. Oh no, I'm behind already. What did I miss, Kate? What did I miss? What's your question? I totally missed it. It was my question, but I let Davey ask it. The question. Oh, at age 45. Yes. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. The brain is just sort of as you go live stream, and I'm like, what question now? And I'm looking through the chat for a question. Nope, nothing there. Yeah, it was Kate wanted to ask a question about just that bathroom scene in Halloween 2018, just the intensity of the bathroom scene. So, and sort of like that's like the true comeback of Michael Myers in that trilogy, because that's when he returns to form and gets that, that really brutal kill. I know there's a couple kills around the bus accident and everything, but I feel like the one in the bathroom there is really, really rough. So, yeah, I've got that big booming voice, and we were kind of in the back of the room. So I was like, Kate, I got you. I'll ask that question for you. Raymond says my favorite Danny DeVito role is the character he played in Romancing the Stone. I've not seen those since I was a kid, so I should jump back in because I remember those being pretty fun. Like, a way more lighthearted kind of Indiana Jones sort of film. Medley Man says you can change your feelings in a heartbeat with a single perspective shift, but you can't have more different feelings without more plot. I don't know. I think maybe like when you revisit a movie, your feelings can change and it's not like the plot changes. So I see what you're saying, Medley Man, but like it's just all opinion. So it's like, I'm not going to get into a fight about it. Airheads does cool Lone Rangers for life. Absolutely. So many great cameos in there, Gavin. Just a really fun 90s comedy. Gina is visiting our friend, and he got me a lovely weed brownie, weed chocolate, and a weed shortbread. I'm having a great weekend. Hope everyone else is. Yeah, I haven't hit anything yet, Gina. I like to stay as clear-headed as I can during these streams, but we'll certainly get a little buzz on afterwards for sure. Raymond says my favorite Brendan Fraser movie is the first Mummy, but he was really good in The Whale. He deserved the Oscar. I have not yet seen The Whale, Raymond. I need to catch up so much. But thank you for bringing up The Mummy, because speaking of Indiana Jones, that first Mummy movie is awesome. That movie really stands the test of time. I think a lot of the CG still works. The comedy really works for me. Again, has kind of that Indiana Jones feel, even like a little, it's not like Star Wars as far as like the fantasy of it all, but like the quick way the movie runs through, the kind of fun loving nature of it, it sort of has that kind of George Lucas-y kind of feel. Really like that first Mummy movie. And I think I enjoy the second one a little bit, you know. I'd have to go back and watch it again. I know it's got some very questionable CGI with The Rock as the Scorpion King. Like bad video game CGI, but that's just one little element. I think I enjoyed the second movie a little, but really enjoyed that first movie. Kate and I rewatched it like 7 or 8 years ago or something like that, towards the beginning of us dating, and yeah, still had a good time with it. Ooh, Gene says, "Who's your favorite person who's played Superman?" I think Christopher Reeve is probably my favorite Superman as well, Gene. I mean, that's the one I grew up with. I love that costume. I love that he's just like, the Boy Scout. Like, he's just a good guy. And he's got Christopher Reeve, to me, just has the classic Superman look. I do really like the Lois and Clark show. I think Dean Cain does a good job playing the role. I really enjoy that show for what it is, having occurred at that place in time, mid 90s. I think it's the perfect movie for that era. Medley Man says, "My Chunky Jordy, you're living my dream right now." What's happening? We got Jamie Hart in the chat. How are you doing, Jamie? Great to see you. Hope you've been having a great weekend so far. Raymond Maliber put Airheads on the watch list. Which streaming service is that on? Raymond, I'm curious. Hey, Gina Snuggles for Ziggy. Oh, too cute. You guys are adorable. Let's see here. Ryan says, "Who's your favorite portrayal of James Bond?" Mine is Roger Moore. I think I'm in the minority here. I love Timothy Dalton as James Bond. I know he only did 2 movies, and they're movies that don't get talked about very much, but that's the first like dark version of Bond we got. The Living Daylights is a really great film, and then like in License to Kill, stuff gets super dark. And that's like a really early performance or early appearance by Benicio del Toro. He kind of plays Robert Davi plays the main, like the lead villain in that film, and Benicio is one of his main henchmen. He looks so young, so skinny. He looks a lot like Brad Pitt. I know they kind of have a similar look as they've aged a little bit, but man, when they were like younger, they looked like maybe even more like each other. And I love how License to Kill really takes it in like, I mean, extremely dark. I know it's an older movie, but I don't want to say anything and spoil it for anyone that might want to see it. But yeah, I mean, decades before Daniel Craig's version took it to that dark place, Timothy Dalton was there taking it dark, and I just think the people weren't ready for it yet. So he only got 2 shots, but I think they're 2 of the best Bond movies out there. Or rather, you can change how much you enjoy a feeling with a single perspective change. I think so. I think Medley Man, every time I watch a movie, I feel a little differently about it every single time. And I notice things that maybe I missed the time before. So that's why I know I say it a lot here on the channel, but that's why I really love rewatching movies. It's so much fun. Same thing with like albums. I love listening to an album and diving in and just like going through it over and over again and seeing how my perspective changes, what I noticed that maybe I missed before. Maybe there's a song that I didn't like very much early on in my listening experience with that record, but as time goes on, I start to warm up to it, and then I realize like, man, this might be one of the best songs on the record. I have the same kind of experience with movies. So I know we kind of have different criteria for how we judge a movie, which is totally fine, right? I mean, I think that's completely valid that you and I, decide whether or not we like a movie based on completely different criteria. And you don't have to agree with my criteria. I don't have to agree with yours. The really cool thing is we can still enjoy the same movies sometimes, and we can still always have that discussion about them as well. So yeah, I think for me, I'm not like a tried and true reviewer where I assign like a number value to everything when I do reviews. So to me, yeah, it's based on like kind of that feel, for sure. And we got everyone saying what's up to each other. Ziggy sends his love back. He's just gone to play outside with Stu, and as we're visiting him for a little bit. Look at you guys. You guys must be good friends for a long time, huh? Talking about each other's pets and hanging out. This is great. The kind of community thing that we've been able to build here, guys, that's awesome. Like, You guys seemingly have known each other from, maybe other chat rooms or, other content creators' channels and all that. And to bring that relationship and just like to have that pour over here into the chat's really cool to see. Toronto Freddy is back. It's been a while. Toronto Freddy finally caught alive. Love your charisma, Davey. I watch almost every time, my dude. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Toronto Freddy. Yeah, guys, even if you happen to miss a live, go ahead and check it on the rewatch. It really helps the channel. Every little bit helps. So yeah, really appreciate you being able to hop in the chat though, Toronto Freddy. It's always great to have people hop in. So yeah, you rock the Casbah. Yeah. Rock the Casbah. Rock the Casbah. Sorry, don't like it. Sorry, my fault was not what it should be this early in the morning. I've only eaten a banana pudding. Kate made these homemade banana puddings with Nilla wafers, and oh my god, just so good. So other than that, it's just been the coffee for me. All right. Yeah, Toronto Freddy knows what's up. Jamie Hart. Hey, there's the girl who's seen every movie in the theater. Word's getting around about you, Jamie. Jamie loves Airheads. Saw that in the theater. Oh my gosh. On friggin' cue, y'all. On cue. My Chunky Jordy, I just watched 78, 18 Kills and Ends, and I definitely miss watching H2 with it. Yeah, it's interesting. It'd been really cool if they found a way to make H2 part of that trilogy. It would have taken a little more work, but I think they could have done it. I really do. I think it would have raised the stakes, certainly, as far as Michael killing, almost triple the amount that he would have killed. If you only include 78, so he kills the truck driver, the mechanic. He kills Bob, Annie. He kills what's her face? Why can't I think of the other girl's name? PJ Souls. Why can't I think what's going on here? What's with the brain, guys? You just get brain fog. Linda, there you go. So what? She kills those four in the original Halloween. I don't think there's anybody else that gets killed in the original Halloween. So yeah, it would have like almost tripled if you consider Halloween 2 as well. And you can always, you can just blame Michael for Ben Tramer's death, even though he had nothing to do with it. Oh, Medley Man says, I challenge you to try and adopt my perspective for shows you need to get through that you might know or now like as much as I bet it will make you like them more. Yeah, I bet if I did like a scoring, it would be cool to do a specific show where I'm like, all right, I've given you guys my ranking as far as like, this is where I rank them in my head based on how much I enjoy the movies. But let's go ahead and do a totally different ranking where we have these 5 categories and we assign a number value to each category. So then that way it's fair. I really liked what Matt Facci did when he did his Texas Chainsaw Massacre watch along series. Each thing had like a point system. So it's like each kill was like 25 points. If there was nudity, it was 50 points. And, so there's a certain fairness to it. So even though like a lot of people, may not like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D, I think that one that ended up winning just based on points. So it takes the opinion out of it. I totally see what you're saying, Medley Man. I think that would be a cool way to do it. Like, and you can have both, right? So you can have this is how I feel about this movie when I sit down and watch it. This is the thing I get. And then you can actually sit down and do it like pragmatically, where it's like more of a statistic number system for sure. Raymond says, I think the most brutal Michael kill was Allison's boyfriend in Kills. It feels like he was taunting her. Yeah. Oh yeah. The knife tryout kill. Yeah. Where he's making his art pretty much. Slap that thumbs up or else I'll see you in your nightmares. Thank you, Toronto Freddy. T. Parker says The Mummy's in my top 10 favorite films of all time. Returns is a very good sequel, and we won't talk about the Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. No Rachel Weisz equals non-canon. Yeah, she was very charming back then, and a cutie, My Chunky Jordy likes Tom Welling as Superman before he got the tights. I think Smallville's pretty fun, Gina, for sure. Jamie made it through her brother's fireworks show without incident. Video coming soon. Awesome. Raymond says, put the Airheads on the Letterboxd watch list. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. It's a really fun. Toronto Freddie, I don't dislike Pink Floyd, but I'd be lying if I said I was a fan. I'm not too familiar with their like deep cuts, really just know the hits. I would say when it comes to Pink Floyd, for me, I like the Roger Waters, like R&B Pink Floyd songs, not so much the psychedelic rock songs, which is kind of interesting because I'm more of like a rock and roll, like punk rock fan than I am. Like I love soul music and all that stuff. So there's definitely like elements of R&B that I really enjoy. For whatever reason, when it comes to Pink Floyd, all of the spacey stuff like Wish You Were Here and stuff like that and Dark Side of the Moon, it just kind of goes over my head. I just like acid rock is just not really my thing. It seems kind of aimless and spacey. What I like about the R&B Pink Floyd songs is they've got like a nice drive to them. Really like the bass lines. I kind of get that like Queen, Another One Bites the Dust, or even like what's his face? Not Lionel Richie. Who's the guy that would produce the Michael Jackson, all the old Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones kind of feel? Yeah, so I get that on the R&B Pink Floyd songs. I really get that Quincy Jones, like classic R&B sound that I really enjoy. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan necessarily. Just rewatched Scott Pilgrim versus the World on my projector in the backyard. That was awesome. Jamie, I only saw that movie once, and unfortunately, there was a person there that was like such a big fan of the movie, and they kept on like pre-laughing at every joke and saying like, "Oh, I love this part. Oh, this part's great." Like before everything happened, it really like killed my enjoyment. So I need to watch that movie by itself. Like it's been over a decade because I couldn't even like immerse myself in the experience of watching the film because this annoying ass dude he wasn't a friend of mine. He was a mutual friend. There was a few of us watching the movie together. This guy just totally was just undercutting every single moment. It was a pain in the butt. And Gina loves Pink Floyd. All right. Yeah, a lot of people really dig them. I totally get it. They are, a classic rock and roll band. Necromechanimal says, Sam Raimi says Drag Me to Hell 2 is in early production. Oh, shit. I had no idea. I loved how the first one rode the line of staying serious, but still having some moments, some laugh out loud moments. Yeah. Music was great. Cemetery scene. Yeah. I haven't seen Drag Me to Hell in a while, Necromechanimal, but I loved that experience watching that movie. I'm a huge Evil Dead fan. Evil Dead 2 was originally my favorite in the series, and I feel like Drag Me to Hell has that kind of feeling, like you're saying, like it has the serious moments. And also, if I remember correctly, there's even like they kind of bring back like the white-eyed like deer head, or there's like the goat that floats around. Like when they're doing that seance scene, I got big time Evil Dead 2 vibes. Yeah, really enjoy that one for sure. And we got Allie Girl in the chat. What's happening, Allie? Great to see you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us yet again. Allie jumped into the live stream that Kate and I did last night where we watched Jaws the Revenge together. There we go. Toronto Freddie. Pink Floyd is Toronto Freddie's all-time favorite band. Hopefully I didn't piss you off. Scott Pilgrim is fun. Linda and Annie. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you guys. Appreciate you. Word's been getting around about me for years. I've been part of this community since 2019. I used to be part of Region Free. Yeah, no, people, man, Jamie, I know I'm just getting to know you, over these past couple months or so, but yeah, it seems like you've been, part of it for a while. I see you jump into so many streams that I'm in the chat, just typing away as well. And everyone seems to know you. So that's really cool. It's awesome to see. Honestly, it makes me feel even cool that you come out and hang out in these chats as well. It's called Get Old, Davey. Sometimers, as I like to call it. Yes. Yeah, no, you're right, Allie Girl. Yeah, getting old. Yeah, it's funny because it wouldn't happen if I weren't on a live stream. I'd be able to pull it out of my ass problem, but there's something about being on a live stream. Any of you guys that stream, I'm sure you can agree that like you just get in that zone, you get those jitters going and you forget stuff that you have no business forgetting at all. Toronto Freddy says, out of the new Halloween trilogy, I enjoy Ends overall. It is literally the only film that has a full character arc. Yeah, I really love ends a lot. So, yeah, guys, we can get into that ranking. We probably should because I've just been BSing for an hour. Holy crap. Let's go through the rest of your guys' chat really quick and we'll jump over to that ranking. T. Parker says, I like to look at H2 and H2O as recurring nightmares Lori had between the original and H18, which is why she's so paranoid and obsessive over him. That's really cool, man. I think that's something that's like worth doing a video over. Are you a content creator? Do you have like a channel or anything where you do videos? Because that is an interesting idea. I dig that. I dig that for sure. Yeah, I want to go back to that for a second, T. Parker, because I have an idea for a series, and let me know, guys, if this is something that you'd like to see, because I know everyone has their niche. So many people are like Halloween guys on YouTube. I don't know if I could ever kind of, break into that strategy, but I do have an idea for a TV show called How to Make It, or a TV show, a YouTube show called How to Make It Better. And that's where I just go through a movie that I love a lot, something that I'm not picking it apart because I think it's trash the way it is, but I take something that I enjoy and I make some little tweaks to the story. And I could kind of, through pictures and everything, explain how I'd like to see that story go. So, like, for the David Gordon Green Halloween trilogy, I have them all kind of like mapped out. So each episode could be sort of like a scripted kind of thing, a pre-recorded vid where we go through each film and I kind of talk about the slight changes I would make that would make it better. And especially with the David Gordon Green trilogy, I would have Corey show up in Halloween 2018. Now, he doesn't have to be in Kills because he could just be missing from Kills because it just takes place later that night. But I would introduce him in 2018. And then so it's kind of cool. You could see how these episodes could compound. So, you do a How to Make It Better of Halloween 2018. And then by the time you're at Kills, you already have done the groundwork to make, or sorry, by the time you get to Ends, you've already done the groundwork and you've got Corey as an established character. So then it's not like kind of blindsided the way that he comes into the story. So yeah, let me know if you guys think that's a good idea. I definitely need to get a little more creative with my pre-recorded vids because reviews and that kind of stuff, they're fun, but that's a really difficult game. And I don't know if being a movie reviewer is necessarily my niche here. I love talking about movies and I can, talk about them here in the lives with you guys. And I can do kind of reviews in the lives as well. Like we were talking about Beverly Hills Cop Axel F earlier in the stream. But as far as being like a reviewer and reviewing every movie, I just don't know if it's for me. So let me know because I'd love to create some new content here and have some new pre-recorded shows, and your guys' input would be greatly appreciated. He did that with the Friday the 13th franchise too. Did what? I must have missed something. Just like a ranking or something like that. Reeve will always be my Superman. There it is. I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan. Huge. Primus cover of Have a Cigar is so good. I don't think I've heard that. Oh, look at Kate saying what's up to Allie. The Final Cut would be your album. Okay, I'll have to check that one out, Freddie. I will write it down. I'm actually going to, how about this? I'll look it up on YouTube right now. So I listen to it after the stream here. Pink Floyd, The Final Cut, because I have YouTube Premium. So I can just listen to it on the music part of the app. All right, there we go. I enjoy Ends. I think others would have preferred it if they had added the extra kills from the book. Oh, I need to check out the book. I definitely do. I love rating movies, but giving something like high and low 5 stars and then also a B movie horror 5 stars kind of doesn't feel right. That is the weird thing about rating movies too. It's like, I may enjoy like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, maybe like a 4 stars for me as far as rating goes. But like, is it really a 4-star movie? Because like if Jaws and Citizen Kane are 5-star movies, does it make sense for Killer Clowns to be a 4-star movie, even though I enjoy it a hell of a lot? It's kind of odd with the stars. I totally see what you mean. It's almost like you have to separate the two. You have to be like, this one's like, this is my serious film ranking, and these are my just like fun movies I love. Jamie wants me to rewatch Scott Pilgrim. I will do it. I will do it. And The Division Bell is Toronto Freddy's favorite album. See, I don't even know the names of all the Pink Floyd album. I'm so out of it. I give every movie I don't like a half star on Letterboxd because they tried, says Raymond. Yeah, I mean, making movies is tough stuff. Huge fan of the movie The Wall. Yeah, I've seen The Wall a little bit with I matched up the NoFX's The Decline. It matches up with the first 19 minutes pretty well. It's kind of fun. There we go. I didn't offend Toronto Freddy. Yes. I don't want to offend anyone. Sometimes I'm just a little boisterous and bold and blunt, My 30 says I met Jamie on Night and Craven streams almost 2 years ago. That's way too cool. Way too cool. Davey, find a coin and flip it. If it lands on heads, I'll actually cripple myself with weed for this tier list. Don't do that. Don't cripple yourself. But yeah, guys, we should jump on over. I don't want to skip all the chat here. How to make Rob Zombie better. How to make Halloween better. Let Rob Zombie do it. Awesome. Love it. All right. Let's see here. Jamie says you got a good thing going over here. We wouldn't keep showing up if you didn't. Great channel and great content. I do my best to support who I can while I'm getting better. I'm off for, yeah. I hope you get better soon, Jamie. Yeah, you've mentioned that before, and always thinking about you and hoping that you can, get back to it, because I think it really, for me, it provides so much, positive mental health. So I know it's just one of those things that when you get back into it, you'll just feel so much better in that sense as well. As I go, my life is I'm too old for this shit. Danny Glover and Lethal Weapon. Yeah. Lethal Wedding. That sounds fun. Lethal Wedding series. I would watch a series of movies called Lethal Wedding. But yeah, there's another Lethal Weapon. Mel Gibson's going to direct it, so it's probably going to be intense. I mean, say what you want about the guy, but he knows how to direct a damn movie. Like, he knows how to bring, the realness to it. Gotcha. T. Parker, content creator, mostly on Instagram, more of a behind the camera guy. Okay, cool. Just curious because that sounds like a really cool idea. So I didn't know if you had like a video put together or something on it. So yeah, sounds like how to make it better would inspire me to make some Photoshop edits. There you go, Necromechanimal. Awesome. There we go. Cool. Yeah. After you review Intruder, I won't mind if you stay away from review. Yep, still got to hit up Intruder. Absolutely. Oh yeah, Fatchy did the point system thing with Friday the 13th. Cool. Yeah. That might have been before I was aware of Matt's channel, so I got to go back and check that all out. But yeah, guys, really quick, I do want to hit up a couple things before we get into the tier ranking, because I want to allow enough time for that. So I just wanted to let you guys know. Of course, please check out the Kickstarter for Gotham Noir. The link is in the description below. We've got a lot of ground to make up there as far as the crowdfunding goes. So guys, check out those rewards. I'm always sharing stuff on Instagram and all that for the film. So I'll probably share a bunch of more stuff after we get off the stream here. So keep an eye out for that. Check out the Kickstarter, pick up one of those awesome perks. We're going to be back with Late Night with the Davey this Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. We've got Our Life in Horror is coming up on the show. I'm really excited to have them on. Since they're a duo, I'm doing them as a guest because I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about between the three of us. And guys, let me know, because I know I used to separate the two guests. Then I brought two on at the same time with Brett Mann from Good Real Hunting and Dice Rollin'. And then last week we had a guest had to drop off at the last minute, and I just had Chris Stanley on there by himself. Let me know what your preferred, format is for Late Night with the Davey. I kind of like, so when you have two guests, it's cool because you bring one on, you bring on the next one. It can be a little difficult logistically planning everything, especially with people living in different time zones and all that stuff, and then worrying about having the time run over and having a guest wait. So I actually really liked just having Chris on and being able to spend that entire time with him. Now, Chris and I are buds, and we could talk about, comics and movies forever. So it was kind of a long interview. I would imagine for the most part, it's probably going to be about an hour or so each interview, especially if I do just, one guest at a time. So let me know what your preferred format is for Late Night with the Davey. I want your guys' input there because, I want to make it as good of an experience for you guys as it is for myself. And also, I think I've brought it up before, making sure that the timing on the show is a bit more digestible makes it a lot easier for you guys to stick around in the chat and watch the whole episode. So yeah, guys, let me know. And then Movie Punks, if you guys were at the beginning of the stream, you heard that we had to push back Movie Punks. Foz had something come up that he couldn't break away from. So we have postponed our Return of the Living Dead coverage on Movie Punks to Friday, July 12th at 9 p.m. Eastern. I've updated the live stream on YouTube, so go ahead and make sure that that notification is set, and you'll get a notice there before we go live. But really excited to talk about the Return of the Living Dead. It's one of my favorite zombie movies of all time. It is such a fun watch. I'm a huge punk rock fan, as you guys know, and that movie is punk as all get out. So I can't wait to have that chat with Foz. I know he's a massive fan as well. And then coming up next Saturday, so Friday we'll do Movie Punks. Saturday, I'm hopping on to Wolfman's Got Nards and having a chat with Barry. We're going to be talking H2O. It's called Why We're Wrong on his Double Scoops podcast. Barry's going to tell me why H2O is the best sequel in the Halloween franchise, and I'm going to tell him why it ranks towards the end of the franchise for me. So that'll be really cool. We've got our points drawn up. We're going to be really respectful and sweet to each other and have a little healthy debate there. And then, of course, upcoming pre-recorded material, still working on the Child's Play franchise ranking and, of course, that Intruder review for Gavin, Bride review as well. And then I'm going to be jumping into the Evil Dead coverage. So I'm going to be doing Evil Dead reviews and followed by a franchise ranking. So yeah, guys, let me hop back on over to the comments because I see you guys are talking here. Look at that. Boom. Lethal Wedding. I love it. Rec 3 is a pretty Lethal Wedding movie. That's that is hilarious. Medley Man says, from my small ass phone screen, it literally looks like Homelander giving me the death stare. That's great. Oh, is it T Parker's thing? Yeah. I love T Parker's. It is a cool look. It's like, come on, man. Real. I like that. Yeah. Rob Zombie is great at visuals. Dialogue is cringe. Yeah. Yep. I love that about you, Toronto Freddy. I'm the same way. I don't get offended. Yeah, because I don't take it personally either. Now, sometimes people can take it to a personal place, which is unfortunate. But to me, I'm sort of like, well, if you make it personal, then I just feel like you lost the argument because you're not actually talking about what we're discussing here. Because you have failed to flip a coin, you have doomed me to be double crippled by greed and concentrate. Hey, more power to you, Medley Man. Yeah, let's go ahead and 91 backers thus far on Gotham Noir. That's awesome. We appreciate every single one of those 91 backers, and we need a couple hundred more to reach our goal. Absolutely. Medley Man says whatever format makes it easier to talk to you and the guest. Yeah, I think having one guest is great because we can really pay attention to the chat. Raymond likes two guests at the same time, like James Corden used to do. Necromechanimal says, I say bring everyone all at once or a single guest. Having people wait seems awkward. Yeah, I like that. Thank you. Jamie says, personally, I like when you have the guests on one at a time, but that's just personal preference and has nothing to do with the quality of the show. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I think just logistically, maybe it's easiest to have one guest at a time. Yeah, who knows? You need a Return of the Living Dead. That's great. Ali says, I think, however, you have to work it to accommodate your guests. Yep. Like you said, everyone being in different time zones. Yeah, that's true. And we don't have to stick to a certain format. We can have certain shows where we have multiple guests. If this were my job, I would have like 3 guests every show. We'd make every show 2 hours. Everything would be like timed out and perfect. It's the time that you spend in between shows, making sure that everything's set up, putting together the thumbnail, coordinating everything with the guests. That's like the tough stuff. Yeah. Send more paramedics. Send more cops. We got Frank Riker in the chat. What's happening, Frank? Showing the love, my man. I really appreciate that, sir. Appreciate you jumping in here. Saw you and Darren live with Barry earlier today. Always great to see that for sure. And is that the first time that Barry's been on the channel? I'm not sure. My wires get so crossed because everyone kind of collabs with everyone else, but That's great to see that. Yeah. And Toronto Freddy throwing out the love. All right, guys. So let's get into the Halloween franchise ranking, the tier ranking here. Yeah, why not? Here we go. All right, guys. So I may need your help on some of this, and we've got 44 minutes to get this thing done. So let's waste no more time. Boom. There it is. So, guys, our categories. The top of the list is The Blackest Eyes. And then a little ode to Barry from Wolfman's Got Nards. We've got Double Scoops up. That's the next tier. So that's like, this movie's damn good. You definitely want double scoops of it. So you don't just want the single scoop. You want to go back for more. Next category is One Good Scare, meaning that like this movie's okay. Like it's got a couple things that work about it, or maybe just one thing that works for it. And then Michael, Go Home from Halloween 5 is the D category. And for the F, we've got Fuck Off, Wade, because that movie just needs to get the hell out of here. So I know Gavin's going to try to get me to put the OG somewhere other than the top, but who are we fooling, guys? We are putting the OG right at The Blackest Eyes, the devil's eyes. And then for Halloween 2, guys, I feel sort of bad. So we did our direct sequel thing the other week. And I think I sort of poo-pooed Halloween 2 a little bit. I think I put it in, it's fine, I think is where I put it for, for sequels. I think this one, I'm putting it in double scoops. It's not quite The Blackest Eyes for me, but I think Halloween 2 deserves a good double scoops for sure. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think Halloween 2 is a double scoops, or do you think Halloween 2 is The Blackest Eyes? Let me know. OG is the best, obviously, says Medley Man. H2 is One Good Scare. Oh, Mud Nelson off to a bad start. Rain says the middle one. Yeah, okay. So you guys are more like One Good Scare. So maybe I didn't poo-poo Halloween 2. So we'll bring Halloween 2 down to One Good Scare, to go along with the chat here. Yeah, you guys are all in agreement there on the original Halloween 2. And we've got Ashton Luck jumping into the chat. Great to see you, Ashton. We're just getting going with the Halloween franchise tier ranking. And of course, we always want your guys' help. Frank drops a good one. Hot tub. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, that is a very, very memorable scene. One of my favorites from growing up. Absolutely. And I know one of your favorites, Frank. I feel like Frank and I would have a really good time watching some of the more like trashier slashers. I do love that Frank and Darren have like the contrast, Darren's sort of like a little more prim and proper, a little more stuffed shirt, and Frank sort of lets it fly with all that nudity talk. That's kind of the way I am. I'm right there with you. Frank, I don't know if you're a big Judy Aronson fan, but man, her in Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Whoo, you know what I mean? All right, love the hot tub kill, says Allie. All right, guys, so let's jump back in here. So, Season of the Witch. I really enjoy Season of the Witch a lot. I know it doesn't have Michael in it. I want to put Season of the Witch in double scoops. It's not quite Blackest Eyes for me, because it sort of plays like a really cool pilot for a TV show that could be very interesting. I think I've probably said it before here on the channel. I feel like the first season of Stranger Things is like very, very much like Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Let's see what you guys think of Season of the Witch here. And we got Carbonite Dreams jumping into the chat. What's happened, Carbonite? Great to see ya. T. Parker says Halloween 3 is double scoops. There you go. Medley Man says Blackest Eyes. All right. I know what you mean, says Frank. Yeah. Gavin says Season of the Witch, One Good Scare. Okay. Raymond says I'm on an island, but 3 should go in F off Wade. Ooh, damn. Definitely double scoops. I mean, I get it. If we're judging it solely on like Michael Myers, the cat version of Michael Myers, if we're judging it solely on like, Michael Myers, of course, Season of the Witch has to go and fuck off Wade. But just judging it on its own, I think it's double scoops. Yeah, Medley Man says unironically top 2 or 3. Yeah, I think it's somewhere in there, like, you know, middle to top of the franchise for sure. Carbonite says just watch the entire franchise for the first time last month. That's awesome. And says double scoops at least. So perfect. We are gonna stick with double scoops there with Halloween 3. Now we're gonna get to an interesting stretch here. Halloween 4, the return of Michael Myers. Man. Oh, geez. This one for me is just one good scare, guys. Because here's the thing is I don't think Halloween 4 is better than Halloween 2. The mask is a damn mess in this film. It's a friggin' joke. And Michael just doesn't really work for me in most of this movie. There's certain shots and certain moments that I really enjoy in Halloween 4. And as far as the writing goes, I don't have an issue with the writing. But the film kind of plays like a soft reboot. Even though it has the number 4 there, to me, it feels more like a remake reboot than it really does a sequel, especially since it doesn't have Jamie in it. For all intents and purposes, it is a reboot. And I just think the mask brings it down a notch. I do love Donald Pleasance here. And I do think there's some great moments. I like, what's his face? I like the new sheriff in this one. I just don't think it's quite double scoops for me, unfortunately. I know I'm in the minority there, so let me know, guys. You want me to bump this one up? How fucking dare you? This is fun though for me to just see like how we differ, right? Yeah, because Gavin, you say it's the blackest eyes. Yeah. T. Parker says it's double scoops. Blackest eyes for Ashton. Well, I'm glad that I said my piece before jumping into the chat because I do want to give you guys my true opinion and not have my initial word on the movie or the initial ranking swayed by you guys. It's always fun to put where I want to put it and then see if you guys want me to move it around. It's fun to do these tiers together. That's one of the reasons why we do it together. Top, all right. H4 is better than 2 objectively, but not biased. Yeah, I don't know if it's better I don't know. Double scoops for Alley Girl. Okay. H4 has a much better pacing than H2. Can't argue with you there. Medley Man says double scoops. Okay. All right, cool. Best comeback for a slasher of all time, in my opinion. Better than Halloween 2018, Frank? Because I'd consider that a comeback as well. I don't know. I know we both feel similarly about Kathleen Mont. And like I said, there are things that work for me, which is why I should have technically it shouldn't be one good scare. It should be like a few good scares, but I just wanted to roll with that quote from the first film. Oh, Jamie says Halloween 4 is fuck off, Wade. Hated it when I saw it in the theater, still hate it today. Oh man. Yeah, the mask for me is really, really tough for this one. Yeah, there you go, Meeker. Another timers moment there for you, Allie. Okay. Jamie, you're breaking it. Yeah, breaking Kelly's heart. Yep. Tearing me apart, Lisa. Okay, so let's go ahead and bump it up. We're gonna bump it up. Double scoops, guys. All right, that's all because of you, chat. We got Halloween 4 in double scoops. Now let's kick it on over to Halloween 5. Ooh, I think it's only fitting that this goes in Michael Go Home. In my heart of hearts, guys, I want to put this in fuck off, Wade. I always fall asleep with Halloween 5. I know people talk about that car chase in the woods. That's when I fall asleep. So even though that moment may be exciting, by the time I'm at that point in the movie, I'm so like over and done with this thing. The mask is again a complete mess. As the We Watched a Movies guys say, tuck in your mask, bro. It's just got that odd Nicolas Cage look. The neck goes way too long. They should have cut it off about an inch or so higher. Jamie being a mute here. Danielle puts in a great performance. I just don't think the writing is doing anyone any favors. Loomis is kind of fun as Nutty Loomis. So that's why I will plop this into Michael, go home. What does he say? He says like, his rage. I love hearing Donald Pleasance say his rage like that. I don't know what it is. Cracks me up every single time. Absolutely love it. For me, Halloween 5 is Michael Go Home. at best. I don't know. What do you guys think? Bottom two says Medley Man. T. Parker says Michael, go home. There you go. One good scare is what Raymond says. All right, let's see here. Michael, go home. Okay. Michael, go home. Gene agrees. Only resurrection belongs in fuck off Wade. Ooh, yeah, I don't know about that. We'll see. We'll see. F off Wade territory, pretty close. Yep. Halloween 5 can fuck off. What an abomination. Oh, I love it. Yep. And Toronto, Freddie, and Allie are right in line with each other there. Meeker is the best sheriff. I think so. Crazy Loomis is the best part of H5. You're absolutely right, T. Parker. Gavin says Halloween 5 sucks, but it does have enough AMC Fear Fest nostalgia for me to go in Michael, go home. Yeah, I can't quite put it in F off. It might be, I don't know. It might be pretty close there, Medley Man. 5 and 6 are both F off Wade for me. Okay, yeah, let's see here. Perfect. So Michael, go home. We have consensus there. I love that. All right. Now, this is where I'm gonna piss some people off. Because I would put so if we're talking theatrical cut, Curse of Michael Myers is going in one good scare for me. If we're talking producer's cut, I'm gonna put it in double scoops because this is one of those movies I like more and more every time I watch it, guys. I know this is not a popular thing. That's why I'm not looking at the chat right now. I'm just looking at the tier maker because I like to put it in the spot and then see you guys eviscerate me in the chat. So let's see here. And I'm thinking producer's cut because I think the music is really good in the producer cut. There are some slower tracking shots and moments that just feel so much more, so much like the original film to me. The fall atmosphere and the Halloween feel here is great. I think Michael, even though he looks a little portly, I think this is a way better version of Michael for George P. Wilbur. I think it's far better than his version of Michael in Halloween 4. I think this is one of the best versions of the mask we've gotten. I mean, the original mask and the mask from the David Gordon Green trilogy, like all of those masks they use in that trilogy are top tier along with the OG. But I think the Curse is right there after him. I love the Curse mask. It's one of my favorite. Like I own 6 of the masks. The Curse mask is one of my favorites. Absolutely. There's something about that look that it's got. It just kind of works for me. I have a hunch you guys are going to want me to put this down in one good scare, but I'm going to put it in double scoops and see what y'all say. Let's see here. Jamie hates the Thorn trilogy. Yep, she sure does. Medley Man loves Curse. Heck yeah. In the bottom 5. I'd probably put it in the middle in my ranking. H6 is Michael, go home. Loomis makes every Halloween season watchable. Yep. Donald, not the other guy. You mean Malcolm McDowell? Don't you dare put it below the middle. Yeah, I think for me it's double scoops all the way. H6 is one good scare. Talking about the producer's cut. Yeah. H6 is forgettable. Michael, go home. Everyone here is wrong, and we are right, Davey. See, Medley Man, we can agree on some things. H6, Michael, go home, says Carbonite Dreams. Oh, only saw the theatrical. Yeah, the theatrical is odd to me. I haven't watched it very much. Since I got the producer's cut, I usually put the producer's cut on. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. I think that's totally fair, Jamie. You don't have to, you can hate or love whatever movie you want. Absolutely. That's why as I've started to warm up more with Curse, I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. Like I'm warming up to Curse. I'm cooling off H2O. Like, I don't know. It like we were saying earlier, Medley Man, it's like as I go back and return to these movies, I do gain a little bit of a different perspective. So I feel differently as time goes on, Yeah. Producer's cut is double scoops. There you go. All right. Toronto Freddy, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah. I only really like 4. The others go down. Oh, dang. Watched Curse the most. I love rewatching Curse. I want Paul Rudd to show up at H50 so bad. He would get so much love, sure there might be some people that pop up with like an Ant-Man thing or two for him to sign, but it's going to be like 95% people having him sign Halloween 6 stuff, you know? I mean, sure, his performance, that voice he uses is kind of odd. But you know, I I'll give you know, Paul Rudd all the flowers in the world for doing what he did with what was in the script, right? And I think Tommy is supposed to be sort of affected by what happened to him as a kid. So I think he's supposed to be a strange guy. He does have that sort of like when Michael Myers was 6 years old, a little bit of that mid-Atlantic accent, kind of odd. But I feel really comfortable putting Curse there in double scoops. I really like that. Um, let's see here. Oh my gosh, the chat just like flew. What just happened there? Oh, Medley Man says, you know what? Just at this very moment, I'm subconsciously put this above Rob Zombie's Halloween. Oh, well, it's definitely above Rob Zombie's Halloween movies. Oh, we got Garrett from Born to Be Rad in the chat. What's happening, Garrett? Great to see you. Make sure you save some room at the bottom for Rob Zombie's Halloween too. Oh, I might disappoint you, Garrett. I actually really like that one. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me that I like. There are certain things about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 that really, really don't work for me. But on a whole, I do enjoy that one. I know I'm kind of a weirdo. Really appreciate you popping in, man. Love seeing you in the chat. If you missed it yesterday, you know, first off, if you don't sub to Born to Be Rad and you're a fan of like 80s nostalgia, you're a fan of film, any kind of film, you know, especially diving into the older stuff as well. Maybe you're a big fan of 80s movies, but you feel like you're missing out on some that you just haven't heard of yet. Go ahead and head on over to Born to Be Rad's channel. Give Garrett a sub. He just crossed the 8,000 sub marker. So congrats to Garrett for that. Really awesome production value over there. Great personality. A whole hell of a lot of content. And just yesterday, Foz and I from Movie Punks, we had an appearance with Garrett and Cody, aka Dude Who Loves Movies, where we talked about high school thriller movies that have kind of like a horror edge. So those old, you know, back in the 80s and 90s, there were those movies where like a teacher comes in, like a hard-nosed teacher or principal. Maybe there's like gang warfare within the school. Like we talked about those like 80s, 90s, kind of like right on the board of like exploitation or like trashy kind of movies. And it was really cool to dive into some of those, which I had never seen before getting ready for that video. So guys, head on over to Born to Be Rad, give him a sub, check out what he's got. Really great content over there. Absolutely. And we've got Eli Cortez in the chat. What's happening, Eli? Great to see you. Hopefully you guys, you know, Gene, I see your I see your your chat here in and out. I think my internet struggles when it's like 110 outside. So I think it's just the internet. Everything sounds fine. My headphones, yeah, the internet might be a little spotty for me. Boom, there you go. Carbonite Dreams just subbed. Yeah, guys, let's get Garrett is looking to hit 10K by the end of the year. I think he's got it in the bag. But of course, if you're not subbed over there, go and give the man some love. And let's hop back on over to our Halloween ranking here. All right, guys, H2O, we are really getting in it here. I'm going to put H2O as one good scare. And the reason why it's not any lower, any higher. I don't want to give anything away for the double scoops stream that I'm going to do with Barry from Wolfman's Got Nards next Saturday. But the first act of this film, I think, is great. I love that they use the Curse of Michael Myers mask in that opening scene at Nurse Marion's house, which I think is awesome. That's the best look that Michael has in this movie, bar none. Easily the best look. Awesome opening scene. And then I really like, you know, the different way that they dealt with like, you know, Laurie's trauma in this movie. I really liked that, you know, her sort of, you know, diving into like the substance abuse aspect of it, struggling with her teenage son. I really love Adam Arkin, who plays her boyfriend in the film. I feel like if he had a bigger role, maybe if the movie were a little bit longer, earned some of the moments a bit more, I'd see this easily as a double scoops. I'd feel so much better about the film on a whole. And of course, you know, to me, it's not as easy as saying like sucks. I think the problem with H2O is there's like 5 or 6 masks, and only one of them looks good, in my opinion. Only the curse mask works for me in this film. I don't like the Stan Winston mask. God bless him. I think Stan Winston is one of the most impressive, practical effects guys in all of film history. That doesn't mean that everything that he put together was an A plus. And I think his Michael Myers mask is a gigantic miss. Now, it's nowhere near as bad as that K&B alien mask that just looks really bizarre here. So, Halloween H2O for me doesn't go any higher than for One Good Scare, because it's got moments. The last act, though, I think is pretty bad. The middle act is kind of boring, but I do love that first act. So let's see what you guys say here. All right. Medley Man says, one day when I'm a patron, I'm going to make you review the Wire TV show. Oh, and the How to Your Dragon books. Oh, I'm so bad at reading. Like, I can read well. It just puts me to sleep. One Good Scare for H2O. Good. I like that. T. Parker says double scoops. Oh, all right. Allie says One Good Scare. Medley Man says One Good Scare is the right place. Jamie says One Good Scare. Okay, you guys, looks like you're in agreement here. That's good to see. When I first saw it, it was double scoops. Now I'd put it in Michael Go Home. I'm kind of there with you, Raymond. I'm kind of there with you. Yeah. You bring up a really good point. When I first saw this movie, I was very hyped on it. Keep in mind, it was the first Halloween movie I saw in the theater, and it was the first Halloween that we had gotten. I think Curse had a really limited theatrical release. It definitely didn't come to my tiny little hometown, so I had no way of seeing it in the theater. So there was that like hype of like Jamie Lee's coming back. It's a direct sequel to Halloween 2. At that time, I had way better feelings about as well. So I definitely see what you're saying there, Raymond. Absolutely. H2O overrated. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. And I think all the passes that H2O gets, I'm like, oh, where are y'all when it comes time to talking about Halloween Kills or Halloween Ends? Y'all don't bring up any of those issues in H2O. Like the fact that the story is like kind of a mess. H2O really disappointed me. There was absolutely no body of water in that film. Oh, no body of water and no body to the script. Ooh, 2 big scoops for Carbonite Dream. Okay. Literally false advertising. You guys are hilarious. I'm Wolfman on H2O, says Big Rod. It's a double scoop in my book. All right. And look at that. Yeah, Garrett throwing guys some love for the subs. That's awesome to see. And guys, this is the really cool thing about YouTube is that, my channel here is relatively small. We're in the first year. We're just kind of getting going. But what I love is seeing that overlap and the fact that like a channel like this one that's, not too big or anything, that we've been able to, put together this really cool community with you folks that keep on coming to these live streams and showing support to the Davey Death Ray channel. And then being able to find out about great channels like Born to Be Rad, through here. That's, it's really, really inspiring the way that the community can connect, not just being able to connect like content creator to content creator, but how we can, connect with you guys. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. I think I can speak for Garrett in this regard. The interaction with you guys is what fuels the content creation. Absolutely. Like you guys help push us to want to be better and do more and get to know you better. Resurrection belongs below fuck off Wade. Oh, we'll get there. Aaron says, hello, everyone. I had a few drinks last night and I slept. No worries, Aaron. We're like right in the heart of it. Garrett agrees on H2O. Perfect. All right. Can you organize the tiers with your own opinions? I think, you can name them however you want, and you can add a whole bunch of tiers too. So I could have gone just 4 categories, or I could have added more, something like that. But yeah, Aaron says H2O felt exciting at the time, not so much anymore. Yep, absolutely. Fatchy agrees. It's a banger of a community. Great seeing you back in here, Fatchy. Look at this. You guys are great. And Brooke Scarlett is in the chat. How are you doing, Brooke? Always a pleasure to see you, my gal. Brooke, I see you in everyone else's chats when I'm in there, just typing along with you guys. Always awesome to have you jump in here. And then we've got Ryan Swayze jumping in as well. I'm one of the rare people that gets guilty pleasure out of Resurrection. We'll get to that. Yeah, for sure. Let's hop on over because it seems like everyone is in agreement here that H2O belongs in One Good Scare. I'm going to put, man, Resurrection. I don't know if I can put Resurrection in Fuck Off Wade. I get what you guys are saying, but to me, it's just as good, if not slightly better than Halloween 5. I don't know what it is. I think I'm right there with you on the guilty pleasure aspect of it. There are certain shots in Resurrection where I love the lighting on the mask. The mask doesn't always look great here, but there are certain shots where it really works for me. I kind of love how trashy this one is in a certain regard. Busta is so over the top. And now I'm sort of like, Tyra Banks is in this movie? I always think of that Dr. Wolfula review where he keeps on saying every time Tyra Banks shows up, Tyra Banks is in this movie? And it's too bad that we don't get to see her get killed. We just see the aftermath. I don't know. Michael go, is it Fuck Off Wade? I could see putting this in Fuck Off Wade. I think maybe it does go in Fuck Off Wade. I don't know. What do you guys, let me know in the chat, guys. Do we put this in Fuck Off Wade or do we leave it where it is? All right, let's see here. Big Rod says, send me remote access. I'll put Resurrection in Fuck Off Wade for you, my guy. Raymond says it goes in One Good Scare. Holy cow. Jamie says, I love Resurrection. I know that's not the popular take, but I find it so entertaining. I love me some Dangertainment. And I adore Busta. It's double scoops for me. Yeah. Baggy ass overalls. Mud Nelson's calling the police. Welfare check on Davey Deathray. He put Halloween Resurrection in Michael Go Home. And the cops are like, oh my God, we have multiple officers on their way. And Jean doesn't have the heart to swear. She wants the Halloween 1 and 2 from Rob Zombie to go into Fuck Off Wade. All right. Resurrection is Fuck Off Wade. Guilty pleasure for Brooke. Love the doc. Yeah. Yeah. Dr. Wolffield is great, man. One of my favorites. Resurrection literally breaks my system of measurement into a million pieces. Literally having a plot point that turns over other plot points into filler after the fact. Yeah. I think a Fuck Off Wade. I think we could drop it down. Someone's got to be in Fuck Off Wade, right? So I will go ahead and put Resurrection in Fuck Off Wade. YouTube, like, we're demonetizing you even though you've never been monetized. All right. And Brooks, One Good Scare. All right. I don't know where to go with Resurrection. This is like, isn't it so interesting with a movie like Resurrection that most people probably wouldn't put much thought into and probably just say, oh, whatever, that movie sucks. But now here we are. It's probably the biggest spectrum as far as like where people would put this movie. Some people are saying double scoop. Some people are saying Fuck Off Wade. That's pretty wide. All right. Yeah, let's jump over to, let's see here. Jump into Rob Zombie's Halloween movies. You guys are going to hate me here. But I'm putting his remake in Fuck Off Wade. I don't like Rob Zombie's Halloween remake. I don't need the backstory. It takes away the mystique of Michael. Not only that, it's just really dirty and gross and trashy. I think the dialogue is poorly written. To me, it doesn't really enhance the way I feel about Michael and doesn't keep feeling about him the way that I do based on the first film. So I would say when it comes to Rob Zombie's Halloween remake, there's really the only thing that I like about it that stands out to me is when the Strodes get killed. I think that's like the one good addition to that film. Like if we had seen that in the original Halloween, that would have been pretty interesting. That's the kill to me that feels like the most real. I know with the father, it's like really quick. He gets killed like outside smoking a cigarette or something. But then when he when Michael just busts into the house to kill, Mrs. Strode. That to me feels so real. Dee Wallace puts in a great performance there, and it just feels, I kind of get that vacancy kind of feel, that Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just something so visceral and uncomfortable in a way that I really enjoy. I felt like that was Rob Zombie finding like the perfect measurement for his style within this movie that I really don't like, but I do really like that element. So I'll jump into the chat and see if you guys are just tearing me apart here. Gavin says, put the crack pipe down, Davey. I know, man. This one just really doesn't do it for me. Really doesn't do it. I feel like it's a waste of a remake. It's the most pointless remake in all of horror history, as far as I'm concerned. But I haven't seen the Fog remake, so maybe I'm wrong. Ali says, RZ 1 and 2 are one good scare me. I love RZ Halloween movies with all my heart. They're the blackest eyes. Oh, wow. Interesting. Yeah, I just feel so dirty when I watch that first movie. Don't really dig it too much. Double scoops for Brooke. All right. Carbonite says, normally I hate Rob Zombie movies, but this was okay for me. I see one good scare. Okay. Medley Man says, now before you put Rob Zombie's Halloween below double scoops or the middle, just remember you can enjoy the hellbilly scenes. Yeah, I mean, there's certain things I like, but yeah. Remember the democracy. Which democracy? Nicholas says, I agree with Davey. I don't enjoy the beginning of Rob Zombie's Halloween remake. Yeah. Oh, but Raymond brings up, let's see here, for me, Scout Taylor Compton and Danielle Harris and Brad Dourif. Yep. They are good performances for those. Okay, I gotcha. That poor fucking bagel, though. Gavin says, yeah, watch the Fog remake and you'll appreciate this remake much more. I bet. The acting is good. It's scary. It makes you uncomfortable in a completely different way. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Elm Street remake's pretty rough too. Yeah. I think a good scare is fair for Rob Zombie's Halloween, but I won't fight for it very hard. Yeah, I could bump it up to Michael Go Home. I don't think I could go as far as One Good Scare. What do you guys think? Are you guys okay if I bump it up to Michael Go Home? Go home, Michael, his rage. I just had to do it one more time for you. And then Halloween 2, guys, let's just get right into it. I'm going to put Halloween 2 in double scoops for me. I really enjoyed so much of this movie. Yeah, I mean, I don't like Michael talking at the end of the director's cut. There's some things where I'm just like, oh man. But again, like you guys had mentioned with the remake, with his first Halloween movie, the performances, Danielle Harris, Taylor Compton, Brad Dourif, all these performances are really damn good. And you guys know, if you've been hanging out at the channel for a while, you know that I like when people try something new. So Halloween 2 for me is really trying something new, because Michael wanders around without his mask. It's almost like Superman would put on his suit, like Michael puts on his mask when it's time to get down to business. I just like that this movie feels like Rob got to make the movie that he wanted to make, whereas the first Halloween movie is like an assignment where he gets to pepper in his style, but it's more like that movie was already, everything was pretty much predetermined other than the actual dialogue. The story beats were, what else were they going to do? So I'm putting Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 in full scoops for me. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. Brother Fluff, what's happening, bud? Great to see you in the chat. Carbonite did not like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 at all. Yeah, T Parker to quote the paramedic. Fuck. Richard Brake, the paramedic. Big Rod says it goes to One Good Scare. Let's see here. Medley Man says put it in Blackest Eyes. I don't think I could go that high with this one. But yeah, I can't go that. I think the first movie just sort of is standing. It's good to me up there. Yeah. Alone. Ooh, if Offway had a recent rewatch though, he would put it in Michael Go Home. Okay, so warming up to that one a little bit. great job bringing Jason back to the screen. Oh man, Brad Dourif makes RZH2 so good. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. All right, guys, let's go ahead and run through the rest of these because we got to finish this up in 9 minutes. So we're going to get going here pretty quick. 2018 for me, I think I've got to put in The Blackest Eyes, guys. I think this one is a great follow-up to the original. I think maybe my opinions cooled off on it since I first watched it, but I so much of this works for me. It's the most interesting Michael's been since the first movie. I think you could even argue that Michael's more interesting in Halloween 2018 than he is in the first movie. I just think the first movie's a made film, and it's the first one, so it's really difficult to compete. But I'd put 2018 right up there for me. It's definitely Blackest Eyes. I really love 2018 sequel there. And then Aaron says, got to give it credit for veering up in a wild direction. Not sure where to put it. I think that's where a lot of people stand. Like, I applaud the different direction. Annie's death scene. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's one of the scenes that makes me rank it pretty high up there. Yeah. So yeah, let's go ahead and keep on going. Looks like you guys are saying double scoops. Wow, one good scare, says Jamie Hart. Okay. Double scoops for most people. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and put this in double scoops. I'm not going to argue with you guys on that one. And then with kills, I would put kills in double scoops. At first, I didn't really know what to think of this movie. I've warmed up on it more the more I've watched it. The whole bully thing really throws me off for kills. But I think the things that work well work really well in kills. So I really enjoy that one. And yeah, I think a double scoops is pretty appropriate for it. And then, yeah, I'm throwing Ends into Blackest Eyes. I really love Halloween Ends. I think it might be the best movie, in my opinion, of the new trilogy. Certainly they could have introduced Corey a lot earlier and it would have flowed better. They could have pre-written everything and maybe all three movies would make a lot more sense together. But there's something about Ends. I love the way it looks. I love the music. I love, again, trying something new, taking the film in kind of a different direction. The performances are incredible here. I think Andi Matichak puts in her best performance as Allison. Rowan Campbell knocks it out of the park as Corey Cunningham. And yeah, it's an acquired taste, I think, for some people. Some folks hate it. Some people love it. I know some folks here in the chat are going to say that this is a fuck off Wade for sure. Let's see where you guys want me to put it. Ali says kills is Blackest Eyes and Ends is fuck off Wade. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Kills goes in Blackest Eyes. Okay. Ends is Blackest Eyes. There we go. Put 2018 back in Blackest Eyes right now, young man. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah. You guys want Kills and 2018 back up there in Blackest Eyes? Yeah, Ali Brooker right there, not liking Ends. And then Carbonite is in the rare spot of putting it kind of in the middle. Like, a lot of people either love or hate it. So that to me is an interesting take right there, Carbonite. Just, having that lukewarm feeling. Because I feel like most people, it's like politics. Most people either hate it or love it. But yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Boom. I think this is looking pretty good, guys. I really like this ranking here. This is a fun one. I gotta wrap things up here within the next 5 minutes. So I don't want to jump off too quick here, but let's go ahead and run down what we've got here. So in the top tier, in the Blackest Eyes, we have the original Halloween from 1978. We've got Halloween from 2018. Halloween Kills from 2021. Is that when that was? And then Halloween Ends from 2022, right? Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. And then in double scoops, I'm not going to remember the years of all these. We've got Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And then in one good scare, right in that middle category, we've got the original Halloween 2 from 1981, and we've also got Halloween H2O, I believe that was 1998. In Michael, Go Home, we've got Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, and Halloween from 07, Rob Zombie's remake. And then the lone movie in Fuck Off, Wade, is Halloween Resurrection. I think that one was from 2002. So there is that ranking. Well, guys, I guess the good news here is that a bulk of movies are in the top tier for us. At least that's the consensus here, us as fans. So that's pretty cool. Raymond says, ends did not go the way I thought it would go, but it was okay. Yeah, there it is. Awesome. Yeah, Aaron Click, good job. Thank you, man. Really appreciate you. Eli, thank you so much for coming out and hanging out. Really appreciate all of you guys hanging with me here. This was a fun ranking to do. Maybe next week we'll tackle, I believe it was Friday the 13th was in second place. So maybe we'll do, you guys want to do something similar to this Friday the 13th next week? Let me know and we'll get that going. I've got to wrap things up here within the next 3 minutes. So yeah, guys, just wanted to remind you, Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern, we're going live, Late Night with the Davey. Our guests are our horror couple. I'm so why do I keep these blah, blah, blah. Let me start over. Rewind. Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern, Late Night with the Davey. We are doing our life in horror. We're having the couple on to have a chat about their channel, get to know them a little bit, all that fun kind of stuff. On Friday, Foz Rotten and I are going live at 9 p.m. Eastern to talk about the return of the living dead. So I'm really looking forward to that one as well. So yeah, Late Night with the Davey, Movie Punks. Then on Saturday, hopping on to Wolfman Nards with Barry, we're going to be talking Halloween H2O. So if you guys enjoyed our conversation about H2O here today, you're going to love that live stream for sure. And then, yeah, I got some pre-recorded material coming up as well. So just keep an eye out on the socials. I'll be posting all over the place. If you guys haven't checked out Gotham Noir's Kickstarter, the link is in the description below. So please give that a gander and grab one of those awesome perks. You guys have been so awesome here. Really appreciate everybody jumping into the stream and hanging out with us. It's amazing. We've got 15 people here at the end of the stream. I feel blessed to have so many awesome folks just keep on coming back stream after stream. Really appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, share this with some folks out there that know, love horror, or enjoy this kind of content. We have a whole bunch of different kind of stuff here on the channel, and it's only going to grow from here. So yeah, guys, have a great rest of your Sunday. Thank you so much for jumping in with me. Until next time, I've been and will continue being Davey Deathray. Take care.